I could agree with all of you that the sequel trilogy is a disappointment. I could fucking rant on an entire channel talking about how much Disney just didn't care about the sequel trilogy. Didn't put the time and effort, didn't put a cartoon, didn't do anything on the comics on it. No. We're gonna put everything on the comics corner, be on the past, on the original trilogy era. That's it. And maybe some on the prequel era as well. But the biggest fucking waste of potential is they could have developed Rey, they could have developed Kylo Ren, they could have developed all that stuff. They could have answered all our questions on what happened to Luke, why Luke is acting so fucking out of character, what happened to this man, what happened to him, makes no sense whatsoever, why he quit the Force, why he literally just be a fucking bitch, and you just want to fucking slap him and just knock some common sense to the fucking man. And he's, oh man, that's how I really feel. And perfect example, remember that whole point where Thor went into Asgard with Rocket Raccoon and Avengers Endgame, and Thor had a panic attack, and Rocket Raccoon just slapped him in the fucking face and knocked some sense into the man? Yeah, that's how I really feel every time I see Luke Skywalker act like a fucking crybaby, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to you, man? You're the fucking guy that literally went out of his way to save your own father. And now you're fucking being a bitch because you can't even save your nephew? Such out of character. They didn't even explain anything. And when they did, it was very vague and not even tell the difference. And when they did a Kylo Ren comic book, it was like totally bullshit. No. We got a completely different story. It's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. And I just feel like remaking this stuff would just be redundant. People would just get fucking tired of it. People wouldn't care. I mean, how many times do you have to consistently do a continuation from a original series? Look, we've done that with Terminator. We've done that with Halloween. We've done that with other franchise. I don't want Star Wars to become that franchise. I don't want it to where, oh yeah, let's do a sequel on a specific trilogy or a specific film just because a group of audience didn't like it. Fuck that shit. You do more films, you make better products, you make shit better, and improve. Correct your mistakes and improve. Look at the MCU. Some of their films are fucking dog shits, but look what happened. They kept on going. They didn't fucking appeal to a specific audience because that audience wants to have their agenda be appealed to the studio. Fuck that. Seriously, fuck that. I would rather just have Disney to carry on, to do better films, to do shows, to go forward and be better. But instead, you're telling me that you would rather have an entire remake of the sequel trilogy. Keep dreaming, buddy, because when the time comes, when we do episode 10, 11, and 12... and you're going to be praising the sequel trilogy, I'm going to laugh my sick fucking ass off. Because every one of you fucking people say, no we're not, you said that shit before with the sequel trilogy. And it bothers me that these group of people, Doomcock, Mike Zero, and any other Star Wars YouTuber that is milking this cow, making this narrative of we want the sequel trilogy to be retcon. You're not gonna get it. Grow up. Stop fucking throwing this narrative that honestly people are like me are gonna call you guys out. We lost Carrie Fisher, the actress who played Princess Leia. Her final performance is in those sequel trilogies. We are lucky that we got to see those actors play their iconic roles again. We are lucky. And the fact that you people want to remake the sequel trilogy just because you want to appeal to your own agenda, there are times that's okay to do it. But in case like Star Wars, absolutely not. The same goes with Marvel as well. And DC. But the facts are, I accept the sequel trilogy, despite the problems that I have with it. It's not as bad as the prequel trilogy, but I accept the problems that the sequel trilogy has. I can do an entire dedicated channel just the problems on the entire whole thing on this trilogy. The lack of explaining on Rey's true origin, and then we find out that, oh yeah, she's the daughter of the Emperor. Why couldn't you just say it from the very beginning? Or at least Last Jedi, you would have had a different direction on Rey if she found out, oh yeah, you're the daughter of the Emperor. You're destined to become the Empress of the Empire. Join us. You would have had Snoke, all this crazy storylines with Snoke telling Rey to join the dark side. It is your destiny. It is your destiny. And he would have had Kylo Ren be replaced or whatever, or Rey and Kylo Ren will kind of hooked up. Who knows? I mean, it's a fucking mess that I just feel like, I mean, it's going to take a miracle if Disney wants to continue and just fix the problems. I would have loved them to have a cartoon to fix the problems, to just literally tackle the story on what we should have done in the very beginning. But instead, we didn't do none of that shit. It bothers the shit out of me that we didn't do that. But the facts are, I accept it, I moved on, I want better things, I want Star Wars to do the High Republic, and then later down the line we do the Old Republic, and do forward, and we remake Darth Revan, and just copy and paste Darth Bane, and just fucking go forward, and the rest is history. That's all I ask for. But I start to wonder why, more and more. Why George Lucas sold the rights of Star Wars and Lucasfilm to Disney. And I'm just literally looking at myself like, well, here's the proof. Star Wars fans are just a bunch of idiots. They don't know any better. And they shit on George Lucas. They harassed the actors. They did everything by the book, and they're still doing it with the sequel trilogy. God forbid if anything horrible happens when they do episode 10, 11, and 12, or any other Star Wars movie or show. And it makes me sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh, great. If anything horrible happens, who is going to be the one blaming themselves? It ain't going to be Disney. It's going to be the fans. I'm starting to accept more and more of the reason why George Lucas sold Lucasfilm and picked Kathleen Kennedy is because he didn't want nothing to do with the Star Wars fans. He got fed up with you guys. And I seriously see why. You guys are one fucked up people. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, yes, I could criticize Disney on a lot of things on the sequel trilogy. But remaking the entire trilogy, for what? Just because you feel like you want to appeal to your own agenda? I say you're even worse than the fucking Disney or Kathleen Kennedy. God mercy in their souls when Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau fully take over Star Wars, if they ever do. Oh boy, that's going to be real fun, because I'm going to be laughing my ass off, because I'm like, you guys wanted him. You guys wanted these fuckers in here. You can't complain now. You can't complain it, because once you have them in there, and if they fuck up, you got nothing to blame but yourself.